Stracciatella alla Romano in Brodo, which is really just Italian for egg drop soup in a meat broth. Super easy to make, super delicious. If you can't tell, I've been working on my pronunciations for you all. Okay, we need to start off by prepping up that brodo. Sound good? Let's cook. We need to make a mirepoix, and we're going to begin with some carrots. I have 2 medium to large size carrots. We just want to peel them on all sides. Let's go ahead and slice off the end, and then we're going to cut them into about 2-inch size slices, just like this. I'm going to slice off that little end and get rid of that as well. Now, next thing is the celery. Same exact thing. Cut them into 2-inch pieces, just like this. Okay, for the onion, I'm going to be using a yellow onion. You could substitute out for white, red, or sweet. Slice off the ends, slice it in half, take off that outside peel, and then what we want to do is take those onions right over to a cooktop. I've got a large frying pan. We're going to add in some olive oil, 1 tablespoon. We're going to crank the heat on to high. Once it begins to smoke just like this, we're going to add the onions cut side down right into that oil. Immediately turn the heat down to medium-high, maybe going to take 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes to get a nice little caramelization on it, just like this. Okay, set these onions to the side. A few more things here. I've got 2 Roma tomatoes. All we want to do here is slice them in half. No more prep than that. Easy peasy. And now on to the protein. I've got 2 pounds total of chicken, 2 thighs, 2 drums. I also have 3 pounds of meat. I have 2 1-pound beef shanks and 1 1-pound top sirloin. Now, when it comes to a brodo, you can use just meat, just chicken, or combination of the two. I've actually seen ham thrown into the mix as well. But what is crucial when it comes to this is having a combination of bones and meat. You don't want to do just bones, or else you're going to have a bone broth or a stock. You don't want to do just meat, or else you're just going to have a simple broth. So it's important to have bones and meat attached to it. Okay, so we are going to take all 5 pounds of this meat back over to the cooktop. You'll need a very large stock pot. This one is almost 3 gallons. So we add the meat right into it, totally okay, stacking it up, no issue. Now, once everything is in there, we want to start adding in some other ingredients, beginning with our caramelized onion. I'm telling you, the caramelization on that onion is crucial for the flavor in this. Next, we're going to add in the carrots that we prepped up, and then we want to add in the celery stalks that we cut into 2-inch pieces. Now we're going to add in 3 garlic cloves. You could add 4, no big deal. Next, we are going to add in 6 to 8 Italian flat leaf parsley stems, followed up with 1 bay leaf. We're going to add in 8 to 10 peppercorns. They can be assorted peppercorn colors, no problem. And then the secret ingredient, 2 whole cloves. Oh my gosh, so good. And then, of course, last but not least, let's add in our Roma tomatoes. Now, we are going to pour in 1 gallon of cold water right into this pot. Immediately crank the heat on to high, because what we want to do is first bring this to a boil. You'll start to notice a lot of impurities catching to the top, but this is great because what you do is you come back and you skim the scum. You've heard me say this in my stock recipes. Grab a spoon or a ladle and go in there and remove all that stuff. One, again, these are meat impurities and vegetable impurities. They also help cloud the stock, and the flavor is not good, so it needs to be removed. Just set it to the side in a little container, and then once you are done doing this, after it's boiling, we're going to turn the heat down to low-medium. We're going to simmer it for a total of 2 hours. Now, come back every 30 minutes or so and continue to skim the scum, because impurities will still collect towards the top of your brodo. Once it is done, we are going to remove it from the cooktop. Looks fantastic, smells awesome. Honestly, the cloves in there, so good. What you do is take a ladle at a time, add it to the stock, and then run it through a fine mesh strainer or a chinois or a strainer with some cheesecloth in it, and completely strain it. Do not tip it over and dump it over. It will become incredibly cloudy and you'll lose that effect of the brodo. And don't worry, it will clarify a little bit more once everything settles to the bottom. And if you want, you can strain it even a second time or just pour off that top clean layer and leave some more of those impurities at the bottom. And there's a lot of leftover cooked chicken and beef. What you can do is simply chop all this up, remove from the bones, bag it up, put it in the refrigerator or freezer for another recipe at a later date. Great way to use it up. Okay, we are going to add a half gallon of this brodo right to a small pot. I'm going to freeze the other half for a rainy day on another recipe. Let's take that little pot, go back over to your cooktop, turn the heat just on to low. We want to simmer it. And at this point, what we want to do is season it up with salt. Be sure to taste it. Season once, taste twice. Make sure it's very flavorful. Okay, fine. You don't have time to make this brodo? Don't sweat it. You can absolutely use a chicken stock or a beef stock or even a combination of the two. I've got great recipes for each. Also, this brodo is fantastic in any soup or any stew. It will last in the refrigerator covered for up to 5 days or in the freezer covered for up to 6 months. So be sure to use it in another recipe because guess what? We're only going to use half of it here. Now let's make that egg mixture. I've got a medium-sized bowl. What we want to do is finely grate in some fresh Parmesan cheese. Sure, you can buy the already grated Parmesan, no problem. You can also add in some pecorino. But you want about a cup and a half of grated Parmesan. Next, we're going to add in a quarter cup of semolina flour, followed up with 4 large eggs. And then what we want to do for some greenery here is I've got 3 tablespoons of finely minced flat leaf Italian parsley. And then for a little kick, what I like to add in is the zest of a half lemon, just a little citrus in there, a little acid. Then season it up with just a little bit of salt, maybe a half teaspoon or so. Using a whisk, completely mix this together. Whisk vigorously, my friends. Make sure it is nice and smooth. This looks fantastic. Should be a little thick too. Head over to your brodo, and what we do is slowly mix it in, pour it in, continue to stir it. We don't want any huge clumps of eggs. We want small little pieces of eggs. And believe it or not, stracciatella actually means rags because the eggs, I guess, are supposed to resemble rags. I don't know if I buy that one. Regardless, looks fantastic. Oh yeah, for another added bonus, totally optional, add in 2 cups of packed baby spinach for some greenery in this. Also, it helps fill out the recipe for some more vegetables. Looks amazing, smells amazing, can't wait to get in this. And you can absolutely add in other greens like chard or escarole or even peas, maybe even some shredded chicken if you wanted to make this a little heartier. But I'm telling you, it always comes back to these foundational basic principles. Putting them into practice over and over again will absolutely help elevate your everyday cooking. And the food that's coming out of it, homemade from scratch, there's nothing better. Everyone will want to come to your house, I'm telling you right now. There are a few things we're going to add on top of this so to serve it up and help spice it up a little bit. Here's how you do it. Of course, pour in several ladles of this stracciatella right into a nice sized bowl. We're going to add in some more freshly grated Parmesan cheese, a little bit more parsley, and for a little kick, I like to hit it with some crushed red pepper flakes. And man, oh man, let's get in this.